Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad to see you here. And we started from that beautiful intro, the movie, and you will understand why in a few minutes. My name is Mikhail Gendelyev. I am the host of press conference. And we are here today to reveal a groundbreaking announcement by global recording artist Sarah Brightman. In the coming weeks and months, Sarah will be working with Roscosmos, partners of the International Space Station, Space Adventures, and UNESCO on an extraordinary project. Speaking about the music career, Sarah has just announced the release of her upcoming new album, Dream Chaser. It will be released at January 22nd next year, which will be supported by a worldwide tour touching up 5 continents and includes over 100 concert dates kicking off in Canada on January 29th. North American community fan and VIP tickets pre-sales happening at this very moment, offering concert goers an engaging and intimate Dream Chaser experience. Public ticket on sales will start on October 15th. And Sarah's new website at the SarahBrightman.com launched last week and is currently offering fans a free download of her first track, Angel, which you just heard on this video. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guest of honor and speakers. Please welcome global recording artist and UNESCO Artist for Peace Ambassador, Sarah Brightman. Chairman and co-founder of Space of Adventures, Eric Anderson. Head of Manned Flight Department at Roscosmos, Alexei Krasnov. And Director of the Division of Public Information for UNESCO, Neil Ford.
Принял.
I think I was 8 at the time, and seeing, obviously at that time we're talking about, first man on the moon. I remember watching it on television, and something flipped. I'd been quiet and reticent as a child, and suddenly my mind opened, and I thought, I want to do something very, very special. I want to go there where they are. I want to go up. I actually want to go up into space. That moment, things changed. Say, what is your real goal? What is it that you really would like to do? It seemed so unrealistic and crazy at the time, but actually this is what I've always wanted to do, and I suddenly saw that it was possible. Scientist. I'm a normal person. I don't know how I'm going to react to things. I thought back then and thought this would be me in the future, I wouldn't believe it. But I feel absolutely ready.
Very good.
I cannot believe that this is happening. I'm here.
It was made a decision.
Известный в мире изъявил желание.
You are approved for the special spaceflight training. You have been approved for this.
Рекомендации.
Next steps.
Проводит подготовку после вращения.
Well, we are going to start, and speeches go first, and then we will have the questions and answers question. I will announce your questions that you left at the registration points. And also, we would like to welcome our fans and journalists from around the world joining us for this special announcement. They are watching via Sarah's Brightman YouTube at youtube.com/SarahBrightman. So, with my pleasure, I will introduce the first speaker. She is the world's biggest selling soprano who pioneered the classical crossover music movement. She remains among the world's most prominent performers, with global sales of 30 million units, having received more than 180 gold and platinum awards in over 40 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sarah Brightman.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming. Dobry večer, mi radi vidět vás. As I'm sure you may know, I am planning to become a spaceflight participant and have been recently approved to begin my spaceflight training by the Russian Space Federation, having passed the necessary medical and physical tests. The final scheduling and details of my trip by Soyuz rocket to the International Space Station will be determined very shortly by Roscosmos and the ISS partners. Between now and the time of my space voyage, I have much to do. First and foremost, I am a musician, and I am about to embark upon a particularly intensive period in my musical career. I will be releasing a new record in January 2013, a collection of songs that have been influenced by the feelings and challenges of this space adventure. I will be performing around the world in 2013. This will be the most comprehensive global tour I have ever undertaken, beginning in Canada at the end of January and visiting all 5 continents over the following 12 months. Soon after that, I will be embarking upon 6 months of training in Russia prior to my flight to the International Space Station. This extraordinary voyage has been many months in the planning, but more accurately, has been many years in the making. Throughout most of my life, I felt an incredible desire to take the journey to space that I have now begun. When I look back, my mind's eye brings me to a rush of images from all of the incredible things that I have been privileged to experience in my life. But if I keep tracking back, my thoughts eventually come to rest on a flickering TV screen in 1969. There, as a small and incredulous child, I watched a man bound gently from the steps of a rocket ship and land on the surface of the moon. This really was an adventure. It was something miraculous. For me, it was an epiphany. From that moment, I began looking into the future. I began to dream of what life might hold in store for me and of what I could accomplish. A journey into space is the greatest adventure I can imagine. The opportunity to orbit the Earth, witnessing multiple sunrises and sunsets every day, looking back to our small blue life sustaining jewel from a distance, gives me the greatest sense of anticipation. Space travel is still a relatively new phenomenon, yet we know that since history began, humans have gazed upon the stars and space with wonderment. The growing possibility that many more of us will be able to not only look out to space from Earth, but back to Earth from space, is an incredible thing. And not just because of our innate sense of adventure, but because the perspective that this view gives should enable us to learn more about what we need to do to safeguard our planet's future. This is a demanding and exciting opportunity for the generations to come. Humankind's ability to set and deliver goals, combined with the individual's pursuit of their dreams and desires, are perhaps the most powerful forces that we know. Believing that something may be out of reach should never stop us stretching for it. The journey should be as rewarding as arriving at the destination. I am determined that this journey can reach out to be a force for good. My journey is about realizing aims and dreams, and I hope it can be a catalyst for the dreams and aims of girls and boys, women and men everywhere. It's hard to embrace the dreams of individuals one by one, so I've searched for a way to engage with people via partners who already operate a number of programs that have global presence, but which positively impact individuals. One such partner that I can share this journey with in meaningful ways is UNESCO. I was delighted to become a UNESCO Artist for Peace earlier this year. UNESCO-led initiatives all around the world respect culture, diversity, and human rights in fostering education and science-based solutions to our tough-to-tackle problems. Many of their programs are dear to my heart, and I wanted to find a way to amplify a number of the projects that they are engaged in. I think that by marrying my space journey to a number of UNESCO's goals, we can make an impact and improve the lives of many people. My mission and beliefs are perfectly aligned in their ethos. Over the coming months, I will be exploring and further developing plans to combine their activities and my space journey, with the hope being that we can engage other organizations and partners along the way to help achieve our combined objectives. There are two key areas that we have identified, which unify my personal passions, UNESCO's objectives, and my spaceflight. Both are inextricably linked and both relate to issues of sustainability. First, how do we ensure the continuing supply of the Earth's resources for future generations? The second is how education transforms lives, and the education of girls in particular. As one consequence of that, we want to try to ease the barriers of entry for girls and women into the science and technology fields. Our overarching aim is to plan a chain of events on Earth and from space, including concerts, multimedia, perhaps even a song from space itself. We want to involve as many people as possible and to engage a generation of dream chasers from all walks of life to help us create a more sustainable future. Sustainability is a complex concept, sometimes difficult to define. I know from the space training that I have already done that the first objective on a space vehicle or on the space station is to make sure that supplies of water and air are preserved. If they fail, then the impact is immediate and devastating. Our resources on Earth are no different. Earth is effectively a spaceship which humans inhabit. When we see Earth from space, we will see a blue planet whose dependency on oceans and fresh water is as significant as the air we breathe and the forests that give us our oxygen. I want to engage people, particularly younger people, to think about how we manage our resources with care. In short, sustainability is about meeting our needs today with respect for needs of future generations, living as if there is a tomorrow. I am not an expert in the field of sustainability, but I do understand that tackling poverty is key, and that for us to have any chance of minimizing its impact, educating girls is one of the most sustainable investments any of us can make. Girls in poor countries who benefit from education go on to create self-sufficient communities. They invest in their families and improve the lives of those around them. Not surprisingly, we aim to help the cause of educating girls in poor countries. We also want to use this voyage to bring more girls, not just those in poor countries, but from around the world, into the educational fold, and hopefully enable many of them to further advance into science and technology. It's in everyone's interest to help to close the gender gap in the sciences. This voyage is the product of a dream, my dream. For many years it has felt out of reach, but I continued to believe it could happen and pursued it whenever and wherever possible. Finally, it can be a reality. I am particularly grateful for the supportive efforts of the Russian space agency, Roscosmos. Thank you for your vision and efforts to enable private citizens to participate in the journey to explore space. I would also like to thank Space Adventures, NASA, and other ISS partners for their support. The passions and goals that drive us should never be set aside, no matter how far-fetched or fanciful they may appear to be. These passions and goals can take you to places that you only ever dreamed could be possible. I don't think of myself as a dreamer. Rather, I am a dream chaser. I hope that I can encourage others to take inspiration from my journey, both to chase down their own dreams and to help fulfill important global objectives. I am more excited about this than anything I have done in my life to date. Being here in Moscow to announce this project is beyond my wildest dreams, and I hope that you will continue to share in this journey with me. Thank you. Большое спасибо.
Большое спасибо. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Brightman. And the second speaker is the chairman and co-founder of Space Adventures and aerospace and software engineer by training. Successful technology entrepreneur, CEO and angel investor, Eric C. Anderson. Let's welcome him on the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am extremely excited to be here today in Moscow. Russia is a very special place for space. As an aerospace engineer, I am extremely inspired by and have great admiration for the history of space in Russia. From Sputnik, the very first satellite, to Gagarin, the first person to travel to space, to Alexei Leonov, the first to participate in a spacewalk, and Valentina Tereshkova, of course, the first woman in space, to Sergei Krikalev, who's been in space more than any other human being. There are many achievements here in Russia, many achievements. And the space history here is a story of exploration, a story of firsts, a story of pride, both national, but really for all humanity. So I'd like to thank the Russian aerospace industry, the Russian Space Agency, Energia, and all of the different players who helped to make these dreams possible. And today in Moscow, I stand beside Miss Sarah Brightman, as she has announced her plans to live her dream of flying to space. For most of us, space is the greatest and final frontier. It has inspired nations to explore, has driven brilliant minds to innovate and create new things, and by doing so, space exploration has inspired the citizens of the world throughout history to look at the night sky, to wonder, to dream, and imagine, and to believe that in a world where people can travel to space, truly anything is possible. Space adventures through our long and successful history with Roscosmos, Energia, and Russia has enabled 7 privately funded individuals to launch to space over the last decade. These are people who started off like you and I, and yet who have lived their lives in the most extraordinary ways. Many of our clients have come from a technical background. Others were pilots, yet others have flourished in the arts. They all achieved greatness in their respective careers. They pushed themselves, they pursued their dreams, never faltering, each of them becoming wildly successful, which enabled them to follow in the footsteps of the cosmonauts and astronauts through this private spaceflight program. They all share a common thread. They have gazed at the night sky, dreaming of floating amongst the stars, and they have made the choice, the will, to make that dream into a reality. I have my own dream to fly to space. I believe space exploration will be one of the most enduring activities of humanity's next chapter. Like millions of others, I want to go myself. And that's why I founded Space Adventures at the end of the last millennium. I want to open the space frontier for all. I look at Sarah with deep admiration, not only for her well-deserved title as the greatest soprano in the world, but for the little girl in the English countryside who was inspired by Yuri Gagarin and Neil Armstrong to reach for her own star and to achieve greatness. And now, Sarah, you are a star, a global superstar, in fact. And I'm honored to stand beside you as you announce your desire to fly to space. You will launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome on the most reliable and proven human spacecraft ever built. You will reach orbit in less than 10 minutes. As you circle the Earth 250 miles above its surface, you will dock with the most sophisticated habitat ever built, the International Space Station. On board the station, you'll be traveling at 17,000 miles per hour. You'll witness 16 sunrises and sunsets every day, every 24 hours, that is. You'll be inspired by the beauty that will surround you, but you will also undoubtedly inspire millions of people. Using the talents that each of them have to succeed, you will motivate them to reach for their own star. The world is a better place, where you and others like you show humanity what it means to make a lifelong dream into reality. There will be so many others, especially young ladies, who will see what you do and make a commitment to themselves to do something great with their lives. And that is a remarkable gift to the world. So I congratulate you, Sarah. I can't wait to see you floating weightless in space, gazing back at us, encouraging the rest of us to pursue our dreams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eric C. Anderson, Chairman and co-founder of Space Adventures. And the next speaker is Alexei Krasnov, Head of Manned Flight Programs Department at Roscosmos.
To be exact, human spaceflight.
Human
To be
spaceflight.
politically correct.
Okay.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, мне чрезвычайно приятно присутствовать на этом пресс-конференции. Я хочу в продолжении того, что только что сказал господин Андерсон, продолжить на этой же ноте и обратить ваше внимание, что мы говорим о совершенно потрясающем проекте. Это Международная космическая станция. Никогда в истории человечества, в истории освоения космоса мы не делали ничего похожего. Мы сейчас имеем совместно с почти что 2 десятками стран потрясающе интересную, громадную инфраструктуру на низкой орбите, которую постоянно обслуживают и работают на ней, и проводят эксперименты экипаж из 6 человек. И это очень символично. Это все страны, члены Европейского космического агентства, это НАСА, это Канадское космическое агентство, агентство по исследованию космического пространства Японии и Российское космическое агентство. И наличие этой структуры позволило не так давно открыть новую страницу в освоении человеком космоса. Это полеты. Ну, прежде всего, конечно, мы говорим, что это не профессионалы. Далее, вот в английской аббревиатуре мы называем как участники космического полета. Хотя, наверное, этот термин абсолютно неадекватно отражает вообще характер и суть тех людей, которые уже слетали в этом качестве в космос. Это 7 человек. И мы сегодня говорим о потенциальном полете госпожи Брайтман в космос. Ну, как можно говорить о ней, в частности, как непрофессионале? Да, конечно, она высочайший профессионал. Это талантливейший человек, который имеет замечательную мечту, и вот этот вот сплав таланта и мечты подвигнул ее на формирование предложений по полету в космос. И мы считаем, что это вполне реализуемая задача в ближайшей перспективе. Не так давно мы с нашими партнерами, буквально неделю назад, окончательно оформили и согласовали вариант развития программы, в частности, на ближайшие 3 года, который будет включать годовой полет. Это полет на 1 год российского космонавта и американского астронавта, что позволит реализовать новую возможность полета участника космического полета на космическую станцию на длительностью до 10 дней приблизительно. И, собственно, вот эта вот дополнительная возможность, мы исходим из того, что она будет реализована госпожой Сарой Брайтман, которая прошла у нас первоначальные испытания по медицине, подтверждение врачей мы имеем. И у нас на сегодняшний день нет оснований сомневаться, что подобный полет реализуем. Еще я хотел бы упомянуть о таком совпадении, и я считаю, что это символично. Буквально 2 дня назад мы провели межведомственную комиссию по отбору космонавтов и отобрали 8 молодых ребят в отряд космонавтов Роскосмоса, среди которых была одна, к сожалению, одна молодая девушка. Я считаю, что здесь вот как раз мы говорим о полете Сары Брайтман, и госпожа Сара Брайтман может явиться как бы 9-м кандидатом в отряд космонавтов Роскосмоса на перспективу. И это здорово. И те гуманитарные цели, о которых она нам сейчас рассказала, которые хотела бы реализовать в ходе своего космического полета, это свидетельство многогранности космической программы, многогранности программы Международной космической станции. И не только это научные какие-то результаты экспериментов, но еще и высокий гуманитарный смысл полета человека в космос. Это в том числе и, наверное, это очень большой, самый, наверное, большой вклад, который полет госпожи Брайтман может внести в наше дело исследования космоса человеком. Это привлечение внимания молодежи еще раз. Привлечение молодежи в космические программы не только России, но вообще всех стран, которые занимаются космическими исследованиями. Стремление познать неизведанное. Мы сейчас активно уже начинаем говорить о том, что следующий этап после космической станции, это, наверное, будет что-то связанное с изучением Луны, либо ближайших к Земле астероидов и потом уже Марса. И это, наверное, случится уже лет через 10, в моем понимании. Такие возможности зреют и у нас, и в Соединенных Штатах Америки, и у наших других партнеров по МКС. И эти дискуссии ведутся в рамках партнерства по Международной космической станции. Поэтому, подытоживая, я еще раз хочу сказать, что мы сегодня присутствуем при замечательном событии. Я хочу пожелать госпоже Брайтман удачи в ее профессиональной карьере. Ну и, разумеется, в деле подготовки себя к космическому полету мы будем стараться способствовать этому делу. Потому что еще раз подтверждаю, что реализация этой идеи полета в космос человека, не являющегося профессиональным космонавтом, имеет свое очень высокое значение и очень символично. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Head of Humans Man Flies Department at Roscosmos, Alexei Krasnov. And the last speaker is Neil Ford, Director of Public Information at UNESCO, the United Nations Agency for Education, Science, Culture and Communication. Please welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of our Director General, Irina Bokova, I'd like to start by saying how proud we are to have Sarah Brightman join the UNESCO family as an artist for peace. You know, Sarah, I can't describe it really, it's very exciting for us to have a performer of your international stature and fame work for UNESCO's goals around the world. So thank you so much for agreeing to be part of our family.
Thank you.
And how appropriate that your new album and your next world tour is called Dream Chaser. How amazing that you're about to realize your own dream and fly into space. You know, UNESCO also has a dream, and that is to ensure that everyone receives a quality education, especially women and girls, that science is used for people, and that decisions are based on scientific research, that people value the rich cultural diversity of humanity and learn to be tolerant of one another, and that nations build democracy through media freedom and freedom of expression. So, when you're up there, Sarah, in the space station, looking down on that perfect blue sphere that is Earth, you're not going to see political boundaries. You're going to see one perfect Earth that's created for everybody. And UNESCO's work is to ensure that everyone on Earth has the opportunity to realize their dreams. We all experience life differently. For some, it's a life of privilege. For millions, it's a life of poverty and exclusion. UNESCO's job is to create the conditions where everyone alive today can reach their full potential without compromising the ability of future generations to reach theirs. So how are we going to make that happen? Well, let me give you a couple of examples. UNESCO supports more than 600 biosphere reserves in more than 100 countries. Each is unique, and yet each is a site where local communities, even those living with tough challenges brought about by climate change, have used a combination of scientific learning and human ingenuity to form lives and livelihoods in harmony with their natural environments. In all of these sites, UNESCO supports people and communities to use their own resources with care, to foster vibrant local economies, and very importantly, to ensure that there are long-term benefits for future generations. In other words, UNESCO promotes systems that are models for change, which other resource-poor communities may also learn from and apply. We're putting science to use for human ingenuity, so people can raise their standard of living and improve their communities without exceeding the boundaries of their limited resources. Because we believe in the power of science, one of our priorities is education. To build for the future, we need to ensure that everyone can read, write, and do basic math. That's a model of development that UNESCO would like to extend and expand to communities everywhere. It's already happening in many places around the world where UNESCO runs literacy programs that reach hundreds of thousands of young people and adults with support from governments and the private sector. Education transforms lives and offers opportunities to create ripple effects across communities. For example, when newly literate women become trainers themselves. Graduates of UNESCO-supported education programs can go on to learn a trade, and even in the most disadvantaged communities, become small business owners. The transformational power of giving people the tools and confidence to take hold of their future is how UNESCO changes lives for the long term. Behind every statistic, there is a face, an ambition, and a dream. So as you realize your dreams, Sarah, I'm delighted that you will also be helping UNESCO to realize the dreams of millions of people. The coming years will see you cross the Earth's surface as you perform your Dream Chaser tour on 5 continents. Then we'll see you orbit the Earth multiple times on board the International Space Station. At UNESCO, we're delighted to know that while you're on these amazing journeys, you'll be helping us to speak out about the value of education, especially for girls and women. Together, we'll have an opportunity to explain the value of UNESCO's work so people can understand the critical role of science in helping us to develop a more sustainable world. Together, we can help millions of people who will follow your remarkable journey on Earth and in space to understand that sustainable development can change all of our lives for the better. We're sure that your remarkable journey will attract many supporters to join UNESCO in a shared dream for this unique blue planet. It is so wonderful to have you on our team, and we're all at UNESCO really looking forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neil Ford, the Director of Public Information at UNESCO. Thanks for all speakers. And now it's time for the questions that you left at the registrations point. And first questions for Sarah Brightman from the Daily Express, United Kingdom. What are you expecting to feel in the space, and how will it inspire you in the future in your music?
Well, I have no idea really at this moment what what the feeling will be like. Obviously, one has to get that information from other cosmonauts who have been up there, and astronauts also. My music has always been inspired by space. Actually, as I said in my speech before, it was because of seeing First Man on the moon back in the 60s that actually inspired me to and gave me the courage to go into the career that I had. And I have to say that at moments when I'm feeling nervous on stage, or when I'm feeling unsure, I actually look to the stars and the planets and the space, and it gives me courage and inspiration. So everything really about what I've achieved in my life, I thank that moment in 1969 for.
Thank you very much. And the next question for Mr. Eric Anderson from Interfox Company, but actually we got these questions from many people. How much is the flight costing?
So the price of the flight is confidential, but it is a round-trip ticket.
Thank you very much. And another question for you from Times of London. Of all the people who were prepared to pay Space Adventures and Roscosmos to get them into space, what were the biggest factors in choosing Sarah Brightman?
So I think really it speaks for itself, the reasons why we would be so honored to have Miss Brightman fly with us. But the fact of the matter is that really, aside from the medical and the fact that she's ready to go through the training, and the fact that she has dreamed of this since she was a young girl, I can think of no better ambassador for the idea of human spaceflight. This is a very special woman who communicates and can transmit passion and emotion through music. And if she is able to take that experience, which unfortunately only a few hundred people have ever experienced, and carry that and communicate that back into the world so that millions of people can experience it, I think that would be a fantastic thing, and that's what we hope will happen.
Thank you very much. And the next question is for Neil Ford. Given UNESCO's tough finances, what can you achieve from a project like this? Can it help on a profile and financial level?
Everybody knows that UNESCO is facing difficult financial times. We're committed to fulfilling our entire program, everything we dreamed to do when we wrote it down 4 years ago. And so we have to learn how to be more efficient in our work, and we also have to learn how to raise more money, to be more visible, to let people know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and why it's important for science and education and culture and tolerance to be on the world's agenda. And we can't do that unless we have people like Sarah working with us to use her fame, to use her renown, to help us spread the word. And that's why this day for us is such an exciting day, because Sarah is making a place for UNESCO in her dream.
Thank you very much. And the last question from MTV Russia for Sarah Brightman. Do you remember the movie The Fifth Element? And are you afraid to be kidnapped by the aliens because of your cosmic voice?
Well, actually, I have to say I'd love to.
MTV Russia. Yes.
I'd love to be kidnapped by an alien. I can think of nothing better. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
No. It's
The Fifth Element. Yes, Fifth Element actually is, I love this movie, and yes, I probably am similar to the diva, but in it, but without all the alien tentacles that she has. And the last part of the question was?
Oh, that's all actually.
That was it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all speakers. And now we'll have a photo opportunity at the step and repeat. So please welcome to the press wall. Thank everyone for coming and being part of this special announcement in Moscow and via YouTube. Sarah looks forward to sharing her journey with you over the next few years. Sarah's new album, Dream Chaser, released January 22nd, 2013, is now available for pre-order on her website at SarahBrightman.com. Community Fund tickets pre-sales to her upcoming Dream Chaser World Tour are available now, and public ticket on sale will begin at October 15th. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to leave translation sets in the special boxes at the exit. Дамы и господа, будьте любезны оставлять приборы для синхронного перевода при выходе в специальной коробке.